In the Tariq of Maqrezi in the year 600, a man buried his wife. And by mistake, his handkerchief, which had money inside it, fell inside the grave. Now he's gone home, realizing that the handkerchief is inside the grave. He takes one of the local scholars to dig up the grave. Now the scholar standing at the corner of the grave, and this guy is dug up the grave. What did he see on that day? He saw his wife is sitting inside the grave, and her hair are tied to her feet. So what he does is interfere in the akhirah, and he tries to untie the hair. Trying, he's unable to do so. How is he going to be able to make a difference to the akhirah? But he doesn't refrain. He continues to do so. And what does the scholar witness? Down he goes, and down his wife goes, and there is not a sign of them. And he remains unconscious for one day and one night. When he gains consciousness and relates it to the Khalif, the Amir, he in turn wrote to the great scholar of Islam who alive was at the time, the great master of Hadith, Muhaddis, Taqiyuddin ibn Daqiq al-Eid, this is what's been witnessed in our land. So the great master of Hadith wrote back that this is a reminder. Simple. This is a reminder for people like you and me. Abibi time hai. Even now you've got time. Even now you can set the record. Just turn to Allah. Allah will embrace. It doesn't have to be like this. This is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now and then reveals this. Huwayrith ibn Rabab was at the time of Umar. He was passing through a place called Athaba. And all of a sudden out of a grave he saw a man come out. His head was on fire and his face was on fire. And he was tied in chains. And he was begging for water. Iskini, iskini. He says all of a sudden another guy came out from the grave following him, saying, don't give the kafir anything, don't give the kafir anything. He grabbed him by his chains and dragged him back inside the grave again. Now obviously Huwayrith ibn Rabah was terrified, and so was the She-Camel. He says, I lost total control till I got to a place called Irku Zabia. That's where I read my Maghrib and Isha, and I head straight away to Medina al-Munawwara, to the great Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala anhu, and I related to him this incident which I witnessed. It says Umar Farooq looked into this, and it turned out that this man died in the days of ignorance. He belonged to the tribe of Banu Ghifar, and the sin that he would commit was he did not fulfill the rights of his guest. Abdullah bin Umar also witnessed a similar incident at the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and when he related to the Messenger of Allah, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that was the enemy of Allah, Abu Jahl, and Allah is punishing him in this manner right till the Day of Judgment. Now my young friends, just before I conclude, very quickly, let us just look at very briefly some of the causes of the punishment inside the grave. It doesn't have to be like this, like I said. Now, as we've seen from the hadith, there are many different reasons as to why a person will be punished. But in general, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, hadith of Bayhaqi, on the authority of Sayyidina Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala, Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Inna adhab al-qabr min thalatha, that in general the punishment of the grave is as a result of three things, three sins. First, min al-ghiba. Second, wal-bawl. Second was wal-namima, and the third was wal-bawl, fa-iyyakum wa dhalik. Backbiting, ghiba. Secondly, slandering, carrying tales. And thirdly, negligence with regards to drops of urine. In the hadith which Imam Bukhari and Muslim have narrated in the Sahih on the authority of Ibn Abbas, Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam was passing by once two graves, and the people in the grave were receiving punishment. So Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to the Sahaba that these people are being punished, but don't think they're being punished as a result of something major, no. And then Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam informed them that one of them, he would carry tales, and the second one was negligent with regards to drops of urine. And then Rasulullah asked for a fresh palm. He split it into two, and then he planted one on each grave. So the Sahaba asked, Ya Rasulullah, why did you do this? Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam explained that it's so possible that the punishment will be lightened as long as these fresh palms don't become dry. My young friends, who from amongst us to some degree doesn't commit these sins? Especially the first two, ghiba backbiting and carrying tales, especially ghiba, my friends. You know, this sin, rare will you find any person that to some degree doesn't commit this sin. Even the learned, backbiting people. Now that we know the consequence of this, we need to refrain. And with regards to, the drops of urine, we need to perform istibra. Now what istibra is, Mulana, I'm going to leave it in your good hands inshallah to address this. But basically, just to sum it up in a nutshell, that we need to make sure that once we've done istanja, that after having done istanja, we need to be sure that no drops of urine come out and pollute our clothes or our bodies. Now those that don't perform istibra, without you even knowing, my young friends, you'll be committing the sin. There is no way on God's earth, in general, if you're not doing istibra, that you're not committing this sin. And you won't even know it. Sometimes one little drop will come out and you won't even realize. You won't even realize. That's all of us included, me included. You won't realize. So this is why it's important that once we do istinja, we do istibra. And hopefully, inshallah, Maulana will shed light on this in a Jummah or some fiqh class. Things that you can do, that which will help and save you from the punishment of the grave. And this is something that every one of us can do. And if at least one person acts upon this, then you know what? It's been a good day for me. And even if you don't, it's still a good day. Why? Hopefully Allah will accept, and I'm going to bank the difference in the akhirah. This is what you call banking the difference, guys. You want to be a billionaire? Then these are the types of accounts that you need to open. Not ones in Swiss accounts, yard. And you just kid yourself that you're a big billionaire. Oh my God, how foolish! How foolish can you get? You open these accounts in the Swiss accounts and you have these billions. Only for them to freeze. If this human cannot, if it doesn't click after this, then when is it going to click? Open these type of accounts and I swear by Allah, Allah will never freeze any one of them. Your account will never be frozen. But you'll be shocked that you, in your mind, you only put £1 million in there. On the day of judgment, I only know the last word is zillion. I don't know anything beyond that. Yeah? But you know what? Zillion times a zillion times a zillion, to the last number, whatever it may be, if there's one, yeah, this is what you will find. This is the return that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives. It doesn't give you 1% or 2%. And this is the type of account that you want to open with Allah. Do whatever good you can. Invest here, invest there. You will not be disappointed.